Welcome back to Off the Cuff with Galavante. Oh my God, we're at it again. I am Regina DeChico, and sitting me with always is my fabulous co-host.
Christine Drinan,
Oh.
lucky to sit next to Regina.
We just love to be on this couch. I mean, that's all it is.
It's just a big love fest.
It's just a big love fest. And we're sitting on this couch. Maybe it's like a Thelma and Louise. It's almost like we're in the car because, well, Christine, do you know what I want to talk about today?
Speaking of Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. I mean, bring Brad Pitt into this any day.
No, that's what we do need to. That's what we need to do. I want to talk about road trips. I want to talk about road trips with Brad Pitt. But if that's not an option for us or our listeners, I want to talk about what if we're road tripping and we don't have Brad Pitt. What do we do? Where should we be going?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am the worst person to road trip with because I'm not really a good driver.
Right. It's funny you say that because I would also say I am not. Okay, so here's what we just learned right now. If Galavante goes on a road trip, we need a driver. It cannot be either of us. And I think that's the thing when it comes to road trips. If you have a group of friends, but you don't have someone that's an amazing driver, maybe a road trip isn't for you.
But also the thing with road trips is that you should really be splitting the time.
Yes.
You know, not one person can like be the only person driving. Though if a guy is taking me on a road trip, sorry, you're going to be the only one driving.
He's going to be the only one. No, I will say that because I love it in the car with my husband, and he also just won't let me drive because he's like, it's not enjoyable to me when you're behind the wheel.
Oh my God, I can totally see John being like, stop,
right. He's
stop,
like,
Regina.
it's not worth it. This is not a fun trip anymore. I'm driving.
But there's something about this time of year where, you know, Europe's going to be really hot over the summer.
True.
Your ski trips are done.
Yes.
And you just want something easy. You want to hop in a car, and it doesn't matter. Like, you can even go hop in a plane and then go take a car ride. But
right.
You want something that for the shoulder season of travel, which is why road trips are so great.
No, I hear what you're saying because I feel like we do it almost once a year. We go like into the Cape Cod area. Like a little bit like Mashpee into Cape Cod, just because it's just such a nice change. And also what makes me laugh so hard is every time I'm in that area, I want a lobster roll every day.
Yes. Hello. That's the reason why those places even exist.
Right.
It's a lobster roll. Like, there, you know, no one does a lobster roll like Massachusetts.
Yes.
Like the whole like Cape Cod, Nantucket, Mashpee. Tell us about Mashpee because I am not that familiar with Mashpee.
Oh, so we are very lucky in that we have a very close friend that has a house there. So it's just a house on the water. And I think when you are at a house on the water and you are drinking cocktails on the porch, you are like, there is no place else I should rather be. We like to call it porch life. If you're sitting on a porch and you have some kind of a spritz or something, you have a little charcuterie, it's what's funny is sometimes we don't even leave the house, Christine, because you're on the water and you're like, oh, we can go pick up lobster roll, bring it back, have our cocktails, live our porch life, which is not a life we live here. There's not a porch life here in New York City. There's really not. So yeah, so it sort of becomes about porch life, just living in a place where your surroundings are gorgeous and you could just sort of occupy that space, look out on the water, have your, you know, whatever it is you're drinking on the porch. So kind of really love that. But also, I mean, Nantucket is also amazing.
So how far is Nantucket from Mashpee?
So you can actually there's ferries, which is sort of fantastic. You could literally spend the day even in Martha's Vineyard or Nantucket if you wanted, even though I feel like you always want more than a day. But what's great is you can just take the ferry and you're there before you know it. So it's like a nice central location. I'd like to just experience, just because it's just a different style of life. I feel like everyone has a boat. It's like we're on a boat. If you're not on a boat, you're doing it wrong. So like, oh, we have to take the ferry. We have to go out on this boat. Like you have to see the water or be in the water. That's what I feel like is what happens in Cape Cod.
Well, I mean, it's such a beautiful part of the world, especially during the summertime. But what a lot of people don't know is that those areas are great in the months of May.
Yes.
Like April when spring is just really starting to get a little warmer. And then also in September too, because I will tell you, I have tried to go to Martha's Vineyard, which is why I keep on coming back to Mashpee.
Right.
I've tried to go to Martha's Vineyard, I've tried to go to Nantucket, and quite frankly, it is so expensive to get a hotel in those areas. Like if we're not lucky and we don't have a friend by the house,
right.
You know, you're kind of like SOL, like you're stuck paying like a lot of money per night. And so I think that's brilliant, actually, that you can do from Mashpee. You could probably get a great Airbnb. You're like within an hour or so by boat to like all of these like great islands, and you could do day trips there. So I think that's actually something I might put on my list.
Ooh, yeah. Look at me telling Christine. I'm giving Christine something to do. I've made it, everybody.
Regina, you tell me to go somewhere, I start taking notes.
No, I love it.
You tell me to eat something, I'm like, yes, bring it on.
I will say this too. Whenever we travel that way, we always stop in Connecticut. I don't know if you've ever done. There's so many, like, they have a lot of fun pizza in Connecticut, especially like in New Haven, like Frank Pepe's. Like, there's really fun pizza. So a lot of times our route, even just to get to a place, will also include stopping off to have, whether it's pizza or like a burger that's just like unique to that area. So we'll sort of try to incorporate into a road trip like a whole little adventure if we can.
I just love it. I mean, this is from the woman who stops in Chicago for a hot dog. So you tell me that I should be stopping in Connecticut for pizza. Done.
Good. Perfect. No.
I mean, speaking of like places on the water, when I was thinking about like where I actually would road trip, I think that I would like to do the Pacific Coast Highway.
Oh, yes.
And it's Highway 1, California. I'm spending a lot of time going back and forth to LA right now because we have a show that is in the works, which is really exciting. It's traveling the 195, and I'm in meetings in LA a lot. I'm going to be totally honest with you, not a huge fan of LA.
Sure.
I don't know how you feel about LA.
No, I sort of feel the same way. If you're out there for a purpose, it's fine, but I can't really imagine living there. It's just so different. It's so much more car time than we have. I feel like
Speaking of two people who don't like to drive.
right. We don't want to be driving, nor do we want to be stuck in a place where you're constantly in traffic. And I think that takes a toll. Like, I have a friend that lived in Santa Monica, and she loved it, but she's like, I have to stay here in Santa Monica.
It's true. I mean, like, you pick your friends by how geographically desirable they are in LA. So, and when I'm there, like, I typically stay at the Mayborn in Beverly Hills because my meetings are in those areas. But quite frankly, if I'm going to do a Pacific Coast Highway road trip, I'm going to stay at Nobu, Malibu.
Ooh.
Yes. I mean, which is like hours away from like central Beverly Hills during traffic. I mean, people in LA rent a house in Malibu. That's how like
that's a vacation.
Far it could be. Yeah,
it's so funny. We actually went to Malibu for the first time last year in May. This is very funny. Our same friend, we are blessed, that has the house in Mashpee has a house in Malibu. But when you're in Malibu, you're also like, why would I leave Malibu? Because being on the water there is unreal. It's so gorgeous. But it's a trip it's a trip from LA. It's a vacation from Los Angeles.
Literally a weekend destination, kind of like the Hamptons is to New York. And so Nobu, Malibu is where I would start. Okay. And if I could avoid like being in LA proper, I would. But from Nobu,
Sorry
Malibu,
to our LA listeners.
I know. Sorry, LA. I don't need to not be so nice about LA. But from there, because if I'm on vacation, like I want to go from Malibu, like eat at Nobu and see a movie star or two. And then what I would do is I would head up to Montecito. And Montecito is where a lot of my friends have moved. And I could stay at their homes, but quite frankly, there are amazing hotels in Montecito. There's San Isidro Ranch, and then there's also the Rosewood Miramar Beach. And
I did not know about this. I did not know what was happening in Montecito.
I mean, hey, like you are a celebrity yourself. You need to go to Rosewood. Like that
I need to go.
Yeah, that is like on your and John's list because Rosewood is right on the beach. They really do have a stunning beach location, but I will give you an insider tip. You cannot go to Rosewood Miramar Beach and not get a beachfront suite.
Okay, all right.
Because otherwise, you might be looking at a parking lot, which people pay for the parking lot rooms, and they pay a lot of money for the parking lot rooms. But if you're paying that much money anyway, just go upgrade yourself to
the extra mile and then see the beach.
Yeah, I mean, and so to me, like this is like already a really great like route up because we're not big road trip people.
Right.
We're talking about like a 2-hour, trip from Malibu up to Montecito, and then from there you could actually head up to Napa.
That's fantastic.
And that's like another like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe 3-hour trip up that gorgeous Pacific Coast Highway. And so already like you're cutting up the trip by stopping different places. Right. The Pacific Coast Highway actually runs all the way from San Diego up to Vancouver, and there are amazing hotels and stuff in San Diego as well, and obviously Vancouver, but like you're talking more like a 10-day trip there.
Right. That's a much bigger trip than what we're talking about. We're talking about like sneaking in a road trip within a trip when it really makes sense.
Exactly. And speaking of which, I guess the other road trip I would recommend is right now, the Hudson Valley is hotter than ever.
No, I feel like everyone's talking, and it's so funny because they grew up in that direction, like in Rockland County, so it's like on the way there. So hearing about the Hudson Valley kind of blows my mind. Do you know when you're sort of like, that's not far from when I grew up and everybody wants to go there now, but I feel like everybody wants to go there now.
Because all of these luxury hotels have recently opened. Like there's Innis, there's Pial, which I can't even pronounce, but the ones that like, and there's so many, literally there's the Marker Hotel. I could literally list all of these hotels, but there are two on my radar for the summer. Okay. The first is the Ranch. They have the Ranch Malibu, because obviously I'm totally into Malibu. And then they have the Ranch Tuscany now. Okay. And now they're opening up the Ranch in Hudson Valley.
Okay, so now you're telling me that the Ranch is in Malibu, in Italy, and now the Hudson Valley.
Yes. So essentially, all of these places, you would go to another continent. You would like essentially go to another continent, because that's what California is, another continent from New York.
It's true.
But now you just need to hop in your car, and you're going to be able to go to a world-class spa. And they focus on a lot of hiking, healthy nutrition. I've had friends who have lost 15 pounds in their 7-day to 10-day programs.
Let's schedule that. Summer's coming.
Hello. Yeah. So I mean, like, it's really an incredible holistic center that's so close to New York City. Wow. And so the Ranch is on our radar. Yes. And then the other place that's on the radar is I became a member of Soho Friends. Ooh. And that's part of the Soho House. Right. I'm a little too old to be a member of Soho House at this point. Like, I've kind of aged out. But what I love is staying at the different Soho Houses around the world. But you can't stay at a Soho House unless you have a Friends membership. Oh, so it's different than your Soho House membership. Yes. So Soho Friends allows you, one, you get discounts at Soho Home, which is awesome. I redid my apartment and picked up a couple of cool chandeliers there. And then secondly, you get access to all of the houses to stay at in their hotels around the world. Like they have Dubai, they have all of these different places around like the world, and now here in the United States, they have a couple in California. They have this brand new one that's opening up in the Hudson Valley. So you know that it's going to be amazing, and Regina, we'll have to go together.
Yes, I really had no idea about Soho Friends, and then this too. I feel like, and the thing is, we could do the Hudson Valley this weekend if we wanted. If we were free, like it's so close, we could go right now.
Yeah, and that's the point of like travel right now. The shoulder season is like it's super easy. So all we need is John to drive us. Is John around? He can pick us up at our house here. He can drop us off.
Good.
And then go back home.
Right.
I mean, it's all within a couple hours.
Right, it's all within it. Well, okay, well, now we really have a plan. We've got to get going. We've got to schedule this with John. We've got to head to the Hudson Valley. But I think this is another, listen, people, this is why we do Off the Cuff with Galavante. Because now we've literally off the cuff just come up with a trip that we're about to go on.
You heard it here, guys.
All we have to do is let John know that he's driving us.
We do interview other candidates.
Right. That's very true. So please write in, even though we're not set up for that yet, but soon you can also be part of Off the Cuff for a road trip. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Well, thank you so much, Christine, as always. I mean, fabulous. You're teaching me about things that are right here, which I love so much.
Well, your husband's driving us, so there we go. Okay. Well, match made in heaven. Yeah.
Well, until next time when we're back on Off the Cuff with Galavante, I guess we're signing off.
We're signing off, guys. Thanks for joining us today.